Hey everyone, the Unconventional Outdoorsman here. I'm just going to go over a quick little video for y'all today, going over what I keep in my little trout bag. We've got opening day of trout season coming up here in Missouri on March 1st, so I just thought I'd go over this with y'all real quick. This is a little Eddie Bauer sports shop. It's not a sponsored video, it's just a really cool, oh man, little bag that I carry. You can put over your shoulder like that, and it's got a little waistband clip you can put on. But since I will be going down to the White River, I'm going to be doing a couple videos down there for a series for y'all. But one of my favorite baits for down there is these blue fox whiptails, which are a little bit big to fish up here in the smaller rivers for trout. However, down there you've got a lot more water and you need something a little bit more heavy to cast out there. And for y'all that are wondering, this is probably my favorite trout rod. It is a little bit heavy for some people. I've got it set up for the White River right now. It's a 6.6 medium light crappie max. It's pretty good. Right now I have 8-pound test on it, but usually I'll carry 6-pound test when I go trout fishing. I know there's that whole argument on whether you should use 4-pound, 6-pound, or 2-pound even. I know my dad was a big fan of 2-pound, but the problem I found is, you know, every time I string it up with 2-pound or 4-pound, it ends up by getting a fish that's really big. Because just because you have a 1-pound fish doesn't mean 2-pound line is going to hold it. It really depends on how you're going to reel that fish in. So I like to have a little bit of a buffer zone. Sure, I do realize that trout do have really good eyesight, so that's something you want to keep in mind. Let's go on to the next thing though. I've got some of these. These are probably my favorite bait to use down the White River. It's the Vibrax Mid-Depth by Blue Fox. It's cool little things. My favorite one is when the bullet weight is red. I ordered some of those, which I will be making an unboxing video tomorrow. Now, if you just want to grab something and go, you don't want to lug all this around, say you want to just go down to the boat ramp or whatever, down to the river and wade a little bit. I got this from Restoration Hardware about 12 years ago. And I've got tons of little tackle on it. I've got anything from more blue foxes down to spoons, bobbers, more bullet weights, spoons, and just all kinds of little crappie jigs and trout jigs and flies and everything. So, I mean, you could just take this with you and you could probably have a whole day of fishing, but I wouldn't rely on that alone. I've run some days where I fill this whole thing up and it's just nothing but a snag fest, and that's never good. So you always want to make sure you carry extra gear on you. Also, a big thing I love, oh man, Jesus, excuse me, midnight, don't eat that. One of my favorite baits to use for trout, here in Missouri at least, is the trout magnet. I know we have a wildlife reservation by us called Auguste Bush Wildlife. So it's a pretty cool little spot. They've got trout in their ponds they stock during the winter, and these little trout magnets here, that color, work amazing. So that's something that I prefer. Oh man, I'll tell you what though, when you're out in the White River and you're gonna use like salmon eggs or some night crawlers for some really big browns and they're biting slow on the regular lures, use some of these. These are probably a little bit big. I'd get a size smaller, but the thing is, people always think with trout you want to use a really small hook, which yeah, that is kind of the way you want to do it, but down at the White River, you've got so much water. You want to make sure if a fish goes to take a shot at your bait, you can have the best opportunity to get that fish in. So that's why I do use a lot of treble hooks down there. I use treble hooks up here in Missouri a lot too, but definitely it's a must to have heavier baits, heavier line, heavier everything, bigger presentation down there. And I'll tell you what, when I went down to the White River for the first time, I guess 4 or 5 years ago to fish, it was like a different world for trout fishing. I'm so used to like little stocked creeks and rivers like Montauk and, you know, the normal stuff up here. But man, going down there, I was like, whoa, I need to learn some new stuff. So I'll tell you what though, they've caught some world records out of there, and my goal for this trip, I will be making I think 2 or 3 videos for y'all, is to catch at least a 5-pound brown. Midnight, quit that. Sorry, my dog's acting up. But yeah, 4 or 5-pound brown would be my goal for this trip, and at least 8 rainbows, which is on the low end. Last time I caught 45 rainbows, but that was in the peak of the prime season. If y'all would like to see a catch and cook video of me cutting up some rainbow trout and preparing them, let me know in the comments and we'll make sure to make one when we're down there. Another thing that is very useful, if you're using a lighter bait like this, say for example using a trout magnet, put a little split shot weight on here. I've got some size number 7s, which is probably the best size. These, and I've got some more of that in here. Just simple stuff, you know. An extra bobber or 2, and then we'll open up this little pack here. Tell you what, I got this little package for Christmas. This little pack, I guess 2 or 3 years ago. So I've put it to use since then. Definitely rooster tails, you can never go wrong. The only problem is with rooster tails down there, if you're going to use them, get a bigger one because the water moves so fast some parts of the day that you need something to sort of get out there and be able to keep up, you know. But I'll tell you what, the biggest trout I've ever caught was at the White River was on this. It's a Thomas Buoyant 1/4 ounce. I don't know if you can see the design on it, but it's really, really flashy down there in the water, which is really good for attracting all those fish. And I've caught countless trout. You can actually see where some of the fish have bit on here. But yeah, another technique that I've heard is really good down there, and I haven't fished too much down there, is using a pretty big style jerk bait. So I've got a bobber here. You don't want that. Here's what I was talking about earlier, the red bullet weight, or at least the red little thing there. That works really good. Let's see if I can get this jerk bait out. Oh man. Ah, cut my hand. It's like the one time I need a knife, I don't have it. I've got a crap ton of these rooster tails and bullet ones, or I guess the blue foxes here. I need to organize this better. If anybody has any tips for better organization, please let me know because I really need it. Let's see here. Okay, let's get this jerk bait out for y'all. What are you doing, buddy? Okay. And of course, I rip it out of one thing and right into the other. Jesus Christ, Christmas, boys and girls. It's not a good day for me. Boy. Almost got that. Jesus Christ, Christmas. Well, the hook's on this shot. But anyways, I'll just hold this up. It's a little, god dang it, Repella lure. I don't know if you can see it. Jesus, I'm a klutz today, everybody. Do forgive me. Yeah, it's like literally attached to this darn thing. But yeah, I always keep some extra 6-pound line in there. A couple different style of jerk baits. I've got another one of these. This bait right here, along with that other one that I was showing you a minute ago. These two are going to be your breadwinners. You want to get them both in 1/4 ounce though, because that's really you can use a 3/16 I think it is, or yeah, something like that that can really do something well. More in the shallows. During the morning they're really up close, but when they let the water out in the around noon down there, it's a lot more difficult to catch them in the morning. But I'll tell you what, the fishing is so good down there. I couldn't sleep, so I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I got out on the water at 4:30 a.m. I was literally fishing from the bank with a bass bait caster with a bass jig, and I caught 11 bass by the time 6 a.m. rolled around, which is amazing. This is the jerk bait I was talking about. That's how you catch really big brown trout down there. So I definitely want to try to get one of those on camera for y'all. I will be going on that trip second weekend or first weekend of March. So please stay tuned for that. And yeah, just a little look inside the little trout bag. Nothing special. I just keep enough tackle in there. I can go out and fish for a few hours. Let's grab you and show you. My desk is a mess here. I've got Mountain Dew, buck antlers I'm trying to hang, rem oil, all kinds of stuff, GoPro gear. But yeah, that's the majority of the trout gear that I carry. I've got some other stuff somewhere in my little tackle storage area, but for now this should be the video for today. Tomorrow we will be making an unboxing video. I've got some stuff from Carl's Bait and Tackle that I ordered, some trout gear for the trip. So I hope y'all stay tuned, and please like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and see you next time.